Let's spin it around here on the Los Angeles Auto Show with Thomas and Autogefühl for you with the all-new Toyota Crown. And what the hell is that? It's 4 inches taller than the Toyota Camry, but actually shares the wheelbase. And you can see here a very strong front, really massive, and it looks very premium-alike indeed. And the interesting thing is that the length is 4 meters 93 or 194 inches, and it also shares the wheelbase and the platform with the Toyota Camry. It's just higher and has almost this kind of crossover style. Also here with the crossover wheel arches, black accentuation right here. This is also the platinum trim. Interesting hybrid systems to come too. And here the rear lamp or the rear lights go all the way through. So indeed, it has a very high-class premium design. That's also what I think about. And maybe also this transition, if you don't want to go classic sedan, but you don't want to go SUV either, then you might end up with this crossover styling. What do you think? Let's go with the details. Very slim integration of the lights here also in the front. So a very streamlined look overall. And yeah, once again, I can't get over the lower detail. I mean, here is all the way closed. So where usually are huge air vents, they have this rather closed, almost EV look. But it is still a hybrid and hybrid only. And this is here the new, very powerful 2.4-liter turbo hybrid, all-wheel drive, even with a rear-wheel bias because of that strong rear electric motor, making 340 horsepower and less than 6 seconds in the acceleration figure. Very impressive here for Toyota. And they used the very same engine, for example, in the Lexus RX 500h over there. So, yeah, that's pretty astonishing, isn't it? 2 seconds slower would be the normal engine, which is also a hybrid. This is a 2.5-liter naturally aspirated hybrid. Rather classic one. All, of course, 4-cylinder. This one in less than 8 seconds in the acceleration figure and just around 240 horsepower. These are also the massive 21-inch wheels in the platinum trim that also comes with adaptive dampers, by the way. And standard here would be 19-inch. Doors here with classic handles. I'm not making door closing sound today because we cannot hire the windows here with that vehicle, so it would sound unfair, so to speak. Then here inside materials is a rather hard, not that soft here, also quite hard here. Soft than here a little bit at the inside of the doors, but this is here actually feeling nicer. But it doesn't make a super premium appearance. Let's take it that way. Then we see a lot of camera here also at the steering wheel. These are normal buttons, digital instruments, and the seats. For example, in the XLE trim, they still come with a mix of fabric and leatherette. However, here in the platinum trim, it's animal skin only. Toyota does have Softex leatherette material, high grade. It's, for example, also offered in a new Prius. Then let's get inside here. Seating position. Just put my smartphone aside for a second. So then here, let's adjust seating position here in the lowest position then. Indeed, it is different. In the Camry, you sit a little bit higher. The overall car is also higher. But it's still not that high from the roof. And that makes it, when you're tall, like 6'2" or 189, like me, it's really close from the headroom. So there is some space left. But you feel you would be already sitting inside the roof. And yeah, that's the thing that was kind of similar in the new Prius. So I'm not sure. It does feel a little bit cramped then in the headroom when you're tall. So when you're shorter, it won't be any problem. But for tall people, you have to take a test ride and see if that still fits. For me, I would say it feels too claustrophobic already. I would need to have more space above my head, indeed. Steering wheel here with many... Oh, it's a very smooth function, although it's still a prototype vehicle here. Up and down, in and out, very smooth, so you can find a good position steering-wise at least. Interior overview, we have a mix of these screens here and still manual dials. Here, for example, the climate dial and for vent strength. This one is still accessible. And good that we have this rather manual user interface. Also here, for example, for the seat heating and the seat cooling, like that. And that here in the screen. Oh, by the way, on the motor shows, actually, they remove this knob because it is stolen quite often. Who would steal such a knob on the motor show? Why would you do that? It's like, It's crazy, but yeah, they do it for a reason, definitely. Then here, that screen here, can't show you everything of that, but it will also feature Apple CarPlay and Android Auto access. And yeah, probably most of the time you will use that and not this, rather old school menu, so to speak. Digital instruments, they have a crisp view and also this emulated style with the round dials. Then cup holders here in the middle console, also adaptive. A lot of charging possibilities, 2x USB-C. Then there's also inductive platform here in the front. Then the shifting lever here, kept rather simple and small. And this is then the driving mode selection. Other than that, here, slim integration of this armrest, and it can be opened both ways. This one was equipped with the panoramic roof, and you have this shade here. And wow, it's a really loud shade motor indeed, but it's good to have that shade indeed when it's really hot in summer. However, then the glass roof itself is fixed. In the rear, well, the headroom is also a thing. That is really low, and then you have to put your head behind it. Then it works actually for tall adults, but then once again I'm kind of facing the ceiling in the front, so it works for tall adults, but it's not super ideal. The legroom is actually no problem. That's plenty of space, and it's also decently comfortable here in the rear. You can fold down this one. There are adaptive cup holders, but interesting mechanism indeed. And that it just folds down like this is also not ideal, I would say. But the comfort is actually decent. And by the way, the base level seats, they can also actually add more to the comfort. Trunk or boot, let's take a look. 15 cubic feet, but what does it mean? The length here is 1 meters 10 or 43 inches, and the width is a good meter or 40 inches right here, so very well usable. And the height at about 50 centimeters or 20 inches. And if you fold down the seats, well, there is this small hole just, and there's also a step. That's rather poor. However, what's not poor at all, but amazing, is more than 2 meters or more than 78 inches then to the front seat I'm driving. That's amazing. Toyota also plans this one here as a successor of a Toyota Avalon, actually. What I find quite cool is that it has a unique styling, and people look like, wow, what's that, So that's actually pretty cool, and that you also offer something that is between sedan and SUV, actually. However, the downside is the headroom, both in the front and in the rear. So it's not a car for tall people at all. That's the biggest downside here of that one. However, driving-wise, of course, especially that hybrid max within the rear wheel bias, that will be a very special ride. However, the other one, the base hybrid, will be better in the fuel economy then. And as we know, also with the typical Toyota reliability, they've recently scored once again very well in reliability rankings. That's also one of the #1 reasons to go for that one. The Camry will still be the better price performance deal, and it will have the same length and also a little bit better than also in the headroom. You should check out our Camry review if you haven't seen it so far, or also the new Toyota Prius.